Alrighty, y'all, we got a trade to talk about today. 36 minutes ago. Apologies, I'm a little bit slow. I was taking wifey out on a walk. So we've got a lot to talk about, honestly. Free agency's been crazy today. I think what I'm going to do, at least for the first 3 days, is we'll do a little bit of a free agency update at the end of every day. So watch out for another video coming later tonight. But anyway, the Denver Nuggets have traded Michael Never Swing the Rock Porter Jr. in an unprotected 2032. That's the first time I think I've seen a 2032 pick be traded. It's just crazy to think about. To the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson. Let's draw this out, y'all. Let's draw this out. Initial thoughts, it makes sense for both sides in my mind. I'm always hesitant, and you guys know this about me if you've been on the channel for any amount of time. I am always hesitant to trade people you have won a championship with. Look at that, fanspo. You've got some people available to trade. Now, by the way, have they put the rookies on here yet? Nope, it doesn't look like it yet. So the number's not exactly accurate, but we can take a look at this trade in and of itself. It actually says that it's failed. And why is that? Nets are unable to complete this trade since they are not an over the apron team, blah 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 blah. They would need to cut $9.7 million more dollars from this. Okay, so there's some sort of other factor going into play with this, but in essence, it's Michael Porter Jr. and a first round pick for Cam Johnson. We've known Cam Johnson was going to be on the move for some time now. There was just really no point in doing so. They should get some value back for him. Looking at this from the Denver Nuggets standpoint first, as I was saying, whenever you've won a championship with someone like Michael Porter Jr. and someone that's been a big part of your team for a while, I'm always hesitant to move them because it's so rare that you find people that it actually works with, right? Michael Porter Jr. has played great off of Jokic and all these other guys. Even like with all the injuries and everything, he's been a really great off-ball defender, even though the on-ball defense isn't always all that great, but he's been a good player for them, right? And again, won a championship. You bring in Cam Johnson now, you're going to a bit of a new level offensively. You still get some really good shooting numbers out of him, right? It's hard to find a better catch and shoot guy than Michael Porter Jr., and that's part of the value is Jokic has a guy like that to play around him, but Cam Johnson can obviously do a lot more offensively. He comes in at like the 97th percentile offensively in the NBA, like overall. So this guy can come in, he's going to play that wing position for him, shoot the threes, he's able to create and drive a little bit more. Most importantly, he just has a much better track record of being healthy, and that's probably the biggest thing outside of maybe even the cost savings right here, because how much are we talking about of a difference right here? This is $17 million in savings. Where does this take them to? Oh wow, this takes them like under the tax itself, doesn't it? Wow, look at that. Yeah, so that explains the signing that we'll talk about later in another video. This will allow the Denver Nuggets to actually bring in a little bit more depth. This gives them exception room and everything. It's worth it, right? It's worth it. You've got a contending team, you just need to add a little bit of depth behind them. You get a healthier guy, a cheaper guy. I think this was probably the best person you could trade Michael Porter Jr. for, and you went out and got him. So very good job to them. The Brooklyn Nets in this case, I actually don't mind this for them either. Look, they've got to pay somebody, right? They've got to pay somebody, and so they might as well pay Michael Porter Jr. They just went and drafted all of those playmakers. You need someone like this around young playmakers, somebody that's willing to shoot the ball, just be a spacer for them as they're kind of figuring out the league, people that aren't going to hesitate, that they can make easy plays too. That's what Michael's going to do, right? He's going to run around the perimeter, catch the ball, shoot the ball, things like that. Maybe he gets moved or something like that. I would find that unlikely just because it is a lot of money to move. I foresee him kind of finishing out this contract in Brooklyn until further notice, but at least all the young playmakers that they took in the draft have some people to pass to. Presumably they'll be bringing Cam Thomas back just because I don't know where else he would be. I feel like the Nets have a lot of leverage to give him a good contract, and maybe by the end of the night we'll actually know where Cam Thomas is going. Again, my plan is I'm going to record and put this video up, I'm going to go eat some dinner with wifey, and I'm going to come back and start doing a recap of like the first day of free agency, so we'll see where we're at. But no, I think this is the right type of player to have on this team, because really the only other like wing that they have is Drake, who they just took, and they just gave Zaire Williams a pretty good deal to come back this next year. I liked that contract a lot, so this is solid for both sides. I think if you're a fan of either of these teams, you should be feeling pretty good about yourself right now. Again, the Nets continue to kind of do their rebuild. Nice thing too is like if Porter goes down, right, which we hope that doesn't happen, like we want people to stay healthy at all times, but you're not trying to win games this year anyway. Like MPJ probably not going to win you games like by himself with like all the weak kind of young playmakers around him this season, right? Like he's probably going to get you close to 20 points a game or something like that because he's just that good of an offensive player. But overall, overall, I don't think this is going to hurt your tanking opportunity. And again, it's going to help the development of some of the other younger guys on the team. He's going to come in with a good head on his shoulder, championship experience, all the things that he's learned. It's a good fit. And again, the Nuggets getting Cam Johnson, that is awesome. Gives them the ability to have that depth like we talked about while still having that catch and shoot presence. Cam Johnson is probably best playing off of other playmakers, and that's what he can do here. This is an awesome move for them. I'm really curious to see what the Nuggets do with the rest of their cap space. Like I said, we know they've already picked up at least one name that I know Nuggets fans are thrilled about, and we'll talk about that in a video later today. But otherwise, wow, this was a fun one. I was waiting to see what happened with the Cam Johnson thing, and for whatever reason, I didn't necessarily see this one coming quite so much. But the trade makes a ton of sense. I don't know what exactly is causing the failure in this trade. Maybe there's more that needs to happen still. A lot of times there's like details that still have to be figured out because the trade can't actually be completed for a certain amount of time, right? Or maybe Fanspo just isn't up to date on like completely all the numbers or whatever. But regardless, this is an interesting one. This is a really, really interesting one. But hey, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Your boy is gonna go make some steak and rice and everything and go hang out with wifey for a little bit, and then we're gonna do a whole free agency day one recap, and I'm sure there's gonna be more things kind of pouring in as we go. But as always, I appreciate you guys. Leave me your comments, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye.